I remember around the age of 15, I had been told no to a lot of things. Football, no. Tennis, no. Basketball, no. And then boxing was also one of them, and they were like, definitely not. What if someone hits the sensor? And when I said racing, they said absolutely not as well. So I said to myself, okay, I'm not going to sit here and not do anything about it. I'm going to try. Hello, my name is Yusuf Busenad and I'm 16 years old. I'm from the UAE and half Irish. I've been doing professional karting now for a year in two-stroke IAME UAE Series. So the day I was diagnosed with diabetes was actually, funnily enough, after my birthday. It was the 26th of August, 2023. Of course I was shocked because no signs of it in the family. So even the doctor was like, we don't know what could have caused it. It just seems to be the case. I remember we just had to learn how to live with it like a lifestyle, right? I remember it being very frustrating and scary as well because I had a pretty bad fear of needles. So that definitely didn't help.
I was actually really happy that he did go back into karting because it's helped take his focus off of his medical complaints, so to speak.
So my goals is to get to GT3 racing, and I know it's not easy to do something like that, so every day someone should be pushing the absolute best they can to get to that point, I suppose, yeah. We were leading originally. We had the lead in round 1. We won the race, round 2, round 3. But then by round 5, the chassis bent, and it meant that Oscar Bray, the guy who was originally in second, went into first. If you stay on low for long enough, some people go into comas from it, so it is extremely dangerous and you lose all strength with low. You start shaking and your concentration levels are completely gone. So I remember feeling really odd in the kart. And then as the race is going on, I said, no, this feels different. I feel like this is low blood sugar. And it progressively got worse. And I eventually ended up losing the position. And round 6 was probably one of my worst race weekends in the calendar, unfortunately. And then the final again, I had a driver go into the side of my kart. It ended up giving into the damages a lap later, which meant it was also a DNF and I had to roll it into the pits. I remember when my kart got hit and it was still driving, you get so angry and you get so frustrated. The chain eventually ended up coming off, but I remember just being really upset when I rolled into the pit lane, and it was just devastating because that final race was going well and it was only 3 laps before the finish.
I do still stand on the sideline making dua before each race, and then when we see some accidents, you do get kind of anxious and everything, and you're looking to see who's had an accident out on the track.
I remember during Yas Marina, it felt very demotivating. Obviously, you feel crushed, and at that moment in time, I did say to myself, I feel like the championship is out the window. I knew in the back of my head that I'm not going to just give up. Let me at least promise myself one thing. I'll win every last race before the end of the championship. With everything that's happened yesterday, things can't get worse from here. We saw a massive difference in lap timing, and that helped us get into that second place slot. But when you've already lost that lead, all you can do is recover. You can't lose more.
In second place, a round of applause for Yusuf Busenad.
What do you think was the difference that put you in P2 today?
I think going over where my mistakes were, where I was losing a lot of time and working on my consistency the most.
So originally during round 10, we didn't know if we had won the championship or not. We would have either won by 1 point or lost it by 1 point.
And your winner for today in the Senior 170 category, a round of applause for Yusuf Busenad.
My team manager said, yeah, you're probably second place by 1 point, but he said, look, at least you've closed a gap by 20 points and you won the 3 individual races that you promised yourself you would win. So I reached out to Omran at the very beginning of my season, and I had asked him, would 10 Planet be interested in sponsoring me as a new driver? So I'm really glad that 10 Planet has helped supporting my racing journey, and I'm glad to be representing them at every race.
I'm Omran Meshar. I'm the owner of 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu and John Jacques Machado, Dubai. I'm one of the sponsors for Yusuf. I chose to sponsor him when I first heard he was going to start karting. I knew he was going to do well. He's the type of kid that whatever he puts his mind to, he'd do really well at, I want to see him representing the UAE in motorsports, and I'm 100% sure he'll succeed.
A lot of the reason I like to tell people that I am diabetic I'm racing is because I see so many diabetics that want to do things and have aspirations being said, no, you can't do this because you're diabetic. There's many things you're told no to do, and I truly do believe there shouldn't be a limit as to what any diabetic can do. People with diabetes should push above the weight that they feel they're at. They're not limited in any aspect. They can do the same thing anyone else can.
A round of applause in second place for Yusuf Busenad and your team's champions. So a round of applause, please, for AK Karting.